The value of time. Once upon a time, in the bustling town of Kronos, there lived a man named Ethan. Kronos was a place like no other, where time was treated as the most valuable currency. The townsfolk understood that time could neither be created nor retrieved once lost, so they were exceptionally mindful of how they spent their hours. Yet Ethan, despite living in this extraordinary town, seemed oblivious to the significance of time. Ethan was a young and carefree man who believed there was always more time to achieve his dreams. His days were spent in idle chatter with friends, endless games, and long, leisurely naps. He often postponed tasks, telling himself, "Tomorrow will be just as good as today." The elders of Kronos, who had seen the consequences of wasted time, often warned him. "Ethan," said one wise old man named Ariston, "time waits for no one. Every moment that slips away is a moment you can never get back." But Ethan would laugh and reply, "Relax, Ariston. I'm young. I have plenty of time to do all the important things later." One fateful evening, Ethan decided to take a stroll through the town's central square. It was unusually quiet, with only the soft chimes of the town's ancient clock tower filling the air. As he wandered, he stumbled upon an unfamiliar shop tucked into a narrow alleyway. Above the door hung a sign that read, "Kronos Gift, a lesson in time." Curious, Ethan entered. Inside, the shop was dimly lit and filled with peculiar items, hourglasses of various sizes, ticking clocks with intricate designs, and bottles labeled moments. Behind the counter stood an enigmatic old woman with silver hair and piercing blue eyes. "Welcome, Ethan," she said, as if she had been expecting him. "How do you know my name?" Ethan asked, startled. "I know everyone who enters this shop," she replied cryptically. "I also know that you've been careless with your time." Ethan frowned. "What's the big deal? I've got plenty of time." The old woman smiled knowingly and handed him a small, golden hourglass. "This is no ordinary hourglass," she explained. "Each grain of sand represents a moment of your life. When the last grain falls, your time is up. Take it and see for yourself." Skeptical but intrigued, Ethan accepted the hourglass and left the shop. That night, as Ethan turned the hourglass in his hands, he noticed something extraordinary. Each grain of sand seemed to shimmer with a unique light, as if holding a memory or a moment. Curious, he flipped the hourglass and watched as the sand began to flow. To his amazement, the scenes of his life played out within the glass: his childhood, his laughter-filled days with friends, and the many opportunities he had squandered. As the grains fell, Ethan felt a pang of regret. He saw the hours he had spent procrastinating, the chances he had ignored, and the dreams he had delayed. For the first time, he truly grasped the meaning of the elders' warnings. Time was irreplaceable. Determined to change his ways, Ethan resolved to make the most of every moment. The next morning, he sought out Ariston and asked for his guidance. "Wise Ariston," Ethan said humbly, "you were right about time. Please teach me how to use it wisely." Ariston smiled. "The first lesson, Ethan, is to set your priorities. Time is like water in a jar. If you fill it with small pebbles first, there's no room for the big stones. But if you place the big stones first, the pebbles will fit around them. Focus on what truly matters. Ethan nodded and began to reflect on his life. He started by pursuing his long-forgotten dream of becoming an artist. Each day, he dedicated a few hours to sketching and painting. He also spent more time with his family, cherishing their presence and creating memories that would last a lifetime. As weeks turned into months, Ethan's life transformed. He became more disciplined, waking up early to seize the day and planning his time thoughtfully. The golden hourglass remained on his desk as a constant reminder of the value of time. One day, Ethan returned to the mysterious shop to thank the old woman. But when he arrived, the shop was gone, as if it had never existed. In its place was a simple plaque on the wall that read, "Time is the most precious gift. Use it wisely, for once it is spent, it cannot be reclaimed." Years later, Ethan became a respected elder in Kronos. He shared his story and the lessons he had learned with anyone who would listen. The townsfolk, inspired by his transformation, became even more mindful of their time. Ethan often ended his talks with these words, "Every moment is a grain of sand in the hourglass of life. Don't let them slip away unnoticed. Cherish them, use them well, and leave a legacy that makes your time worthwhile." And so, the tale of Ethan and his golden hourglass became a timeless legend in Kronos, a story passed down through generations to remind everyone of the irreplaceable value of time.